Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in to Latricia's Bakery Boutique, where sugar and smiles meet. Today, I'll be teaching you how to make homemade cinnamon rolls, or as some would call them, sticky buns. Let's not waste any time and get right into the video, shall we? So you see me pointing to 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 of a cup of instant dry yeast. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, as well as 2 whole large-size eggs. You'll need 1 cup of whole milk. And last but not least, you'll need 1/3 of a stick of melted butter. All of the ingredients that you see here are for the sticky bun dough. I wanted to make sure to share with you that I did indeed sift my flour before adding all of my ingredients together. This part of the cinnamon roll process is the formulation of the dough. Once your flour has been sifted, you'll then add your active yeast and your sugar. And then you'll whisk everything together, placing it to the side. Now let's take your milk and your 1/3 of a stick of melted butter and mix those together. You'll also want to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract for flavoring. Once you've mixed your milk, butter, and your extract, you'll want to bring the temperature of your liquid mixture up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. You can do this by using a double boiler, or the trick I use is to place my mixture in the microwave for 2 minutes. Make sure that the temperature of your liquids does not go over 120 degrees or you will kill your yeast. Once you've heated your mixture to 120 degrees, place it to the side. Now let's make sure to crack our 2 large eggs. Then whisk them thoroughly and place them to the side. During the next process is where we're about to get our hands really messy, so let's make sure you have on gloves. What you see me doing now is pouring my eggs into my liquid mixture. I find that when I mix my eggs into my milk and my butter, this makes sure that they are evenly distributed throughout my dough. Now what you want to do is take your fist and place it into the center of your dough. As you can see, I've taken my fist and formed a nice bowl inside the center of my dry ingredients. This is the messy part, so make sure to just go clockwise and have fun. You're going to make sure that all of your liquids are incorporated throughout your dough until it forms a nice solid ball. Once your dough is then formed into a nice ball, prepare to begin to knead your dough. Place some flour down onto your work surface and get your dough ready to begin to knead it. I knead my dough for about 5 to 6 minutes. Kneading your dough is essential and very important because it helps your gluten form. Kneading warms up those strands, which allows the proteins to expand during fermentation and encourages the molecules to bond, making for a more elastic dough with better structure. This also distributes your yeast evenly. We've formed our dough. Now on to our brown sugar and cinnamon mixture. Here I have 1/4 cup of cinnamon to 2.5 cups of compacted brown sugar. I make sure to mix this well because I want cinnamon to be tasted in every single bite. My recipe only calls for half of the ingredients used here. I'm making 2 batches, so I made a little extra. Now that you've got your cinnamon and brown sugar mixture ready, let's stretch out your dough. You'll want to roll your dough out into 1/4 inch in thickness. This batch should give you about an 18 by 18 inch square. You should be extremely proud of yourself if you've made it this far. Give yourself an awesome pat on the back because that gluten and the elasticity in this dough, it's really working for you. Awesome job. Now on to adding our butter. We're going to take a stick of butter, chop it in half, and spread it all over this yummy dough. You don't want to skip this part because your brown sugar and cinnamon mixture that you're going to be adding next will not stick to your dough properly. Evenly distribute. Use your hands to spread it out on top of your butter, and then take your paddle and press the cinnamon and brown sugar mixture into the dough. Once you've done this, you're going to begin to roll your dough. Using your thumb and index fingers, pinch your dough together at the very beginning and then begin to follow through with that same procedure. Keep on rolling that dough. It's actually extremely fun. You want it to look similar to mine. Now on to cutting our dough into the individual rolls. I like for my rolls to cut out very nice and very precisely. So what you see me using here is fishing wire. You can use any fishing wire to cut through your dough, or you can use a bread cutter, but in this case I use fishing wire because it's just really cool to push it underneath your dough and pull it through your dough. What you're watching me do now is make indentations into my dough, and I'm going to cut it out into 8 individual pieces at first. You'll later see me cut some pieces a little smaller because some of the rolls when they rise will be a little too large. So even though everything is evenly cut now, you're going to see me make a couple more cuts just to cut some of the rolls down a little smaller. The middle pieces of your dough tend to rise a little bit more than the end pieces. That's where all the good stuff is. Now follow through with continuing to make cuts into your dough, and you should see this beautiful center swirl pattern. Notice the pieces that I share with you that you can cut in half further are the middle pieces. Once you're finished cutting your pieces to the sizes that you like, it's time to butter your pan. I chose to use a 9 by 13 inch Pyrex, and I buttered it with half of a stick of butter. After cutting all of my rolls, I noticed I had about 12 rolls. I'm going to take 8 of those and place them in my 13 by 9 Pyrex container, and the rest of them I'm going to place into an 8-inch round pan. Make sure that when you place your cinnamon rolls inside the pan that they're all even in size and that they have a good ½ of an inch in spacing between them. You're going to want to make sure they have that spacing because when you go to let them rise, they're going to rise pretty large. I then take the other half of my stick of butter and spread it over the top of my cinnamon rolls. Please make sure to proceed with extreme caution while pouring the hot water demonstrated in this video. I'm using the steam towel method to encourage my rolls to rise. Because I chose to use instant yeast, there's no need for you to have multiple rising times. One quick rise will do the trick, and in many cases, there's no need to even use this hot towel. You want to make sure that you're wearing gloves, and you want to make sure that you pick your steam towel up with the tips of your fingers. I ask that you're extremely careful while operating your hot towel. You're going to need those fingers later. I highly recommend, if you are younger, that you get your parents to assist you in placing your warm towel over your cinnamon rolls. After placing your warm towel over your rolls, place a small steam bath on the bottom rack of your oven. Then place your rolls in your oven and let them rise for 45 minutes. Now, after they've risen for 45 minutes, they should double in size and look just like this. Now let's make your cream cheese topping that goes on top of your rolls. You're going to need 1 stick of unsalted butter, 4 ounces of cream cheese, and 4 cups of confectionery sugar. Place your butter and your 4 ounces of cream cheese together and beat them on medium speed for about 2 minutes. If your butter and your cream cheese were both at room temperature before you begin to blend them together, they should blend together very smoothly. After blending together your butter and your cream cheese, you're now going to want to add your confectionery sugar 1 cup at a time. Then, once you've added all of your sugars, you're going to beat your mixture together for an additional 5 minutes. Scrape down the sides of the bowl, and this is how it should turn out. Now, take that yummy icing mixture and place it off to the side, but keep it close by because you'll begin to place this icing directly on your rolls as soon as they come out of the oven. You'll want to apply this to your rolls while they're hot so that your icing mixture can melt all over them and seep into your sticky buns. Now let's grab some oven mitts and get ready to take those fresh rolls out of the oven. Look at how beautifully golden brown those baked. This is the appropriate color for your rolls. You'll want to make sure the center of your rolls is fully cooked. Sometimes these rolls can be a little tricky, so I take my index finger and I push down the center very gently. If the center of your rolls have a light firmness, they are done. Now add generous dollops of your icing over the top of each roll and spread it evenly with a spatula. After you've spread it evenly over each roll, this is how it should look. Your icing will begin to melt over each roll and give you that perfect sticky bun consistency. I'm not wasting any time here, and I'm digging right in. If you're looking for the perfect cinnamon roll, well, you just found one. And these are best served when they're hot out of the oven. Please give this video a thumbs up if you really enjoyed the commentary. Again, I'm new to YouTube, not necessarily new, but new to making tutorials. So if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. But in the meantime, enjoy your sticky buns, everyone. And thank you so much for tuning in to Latricia's Bakery Boutique, where sugar and smiles meet.